What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to get into dating with Asperger or autism. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't you be listening to anybody that says, oh, autism impairs your ability to interact. Because it doesn't. See, what you got to do, you got to find what works for you, first of all. Like, know yourself. Don't go around thinking, I got to copy this guy or that. Don't think, I got to control my autism. Just be who you are. And you find the talent that you have. And, you might be in an art class, and somebody might see that you have a lot of talent at this, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, help me with this project, help me make something, give me some ideas. And they start to look at you like they really like you, and they start to have this following. And so, now, interacting short-term may be hard. It's hard to meet people that you don't know and just suddenly hook up with them overnight. Some people can do this, some cannot. Now, sometimes it may take a little longer, but what you got to do, sense of humor is a big thing. Security is another big thing. Now, with security, people want somebody who leads their life. So, like a guy with big social network that has all this status in the short run will attract somebody. Now, will they always keep them? No, not always. But it depends on the chemistry and it depends on the personality types. And do they click or not? You'll have some people that live for certain kinds of relationships and they have certain things that they like and don't. And, as time goes on, you'll have this gravitation and bonding. And you'll have people have ionic bonding where it's just a quick bond and these two people get together, very sexual relationship, and then bam, somebody blows the other one out of the water. And then that's a more covalent situation where now they've outgrown this other person and this person blows everything else out of the water and they have this deep bond with your personalities and they feel this inseparability and connection. And this is where with autism, people tend to have better relationships. But here's the thing. Now, what can we work on? One, you always talk about lots of topics and, practice interacting with people, trying to get out there and do stuff. Sense of humor is a bigger thing because the funny guys and the ones that have this chill personality that can connect well, like the Kennedy social skills. Watch how Kennedy speaks. Now, those people tend to have this kind of great appeal with a lot of people. And now the third one, mental state. Now, why am I talking mental state? Your brain can fool you. You can have a time when you have a bad test yesterday, and then you have another test next week. Now, yesterday the test was on something you weren't necessarily good at, and the next test you're better at. But if you get too worked up or kind of, unsure of the test, you might have this anxiety or be paranoid that you're going to do badly. And it turns out to be something you do well at. But the problem is you're studying when you're nervous and having trouble absorbing information, or you learn it the wrong way or get confused. Well, this can happen on a date. And this can happen in any situation. Like there was this one rap battler, and he went up against the guy with his arm in a sling. Now, the guy with his arm in a sling was very good at battling, but this wasn't his good day. And his mental state was down. He was kind of depressed, and he couldn't get his words out. So he brought a book, and he immediately got, he was rapping in a box, and people knew what he was going to say, and saw him a mile away. Whereas the other guy kind of made stuff out of thin air. Well, how does this apply to dating? Well, if you think, oh my God, I got to say this to this girl, I got to act all upbeat, or whatever, they see through this, and they start to see that you are basically, you aren't being real with them and keeping a down-to-earth persona. And they can kind of see through it, that you're trying to be something you're not. And it does not drive security with them. It kind of pushes them back. And the key is that, you have this connection with somebody, and they kind of feel this bond and inseparability where they release oxytocin, but the infatuations where they have this dopamine in the brain and this joy of being around you. And so they kind of want to gravitate towards you. And then they start to get bonded if they feel the chemistry and stuff like that. And so a lot of times the jerks will go out there and they make quick connections with people, but they use them. And so in the short run, they may seem like brutal people that bring security. In the long run, they seem like scumbags. And so with autism in the dating world, people can have a strongly unique quality about them, where they can have all these talents and, they have a lot of intelligence. And this is what people will see. And they will start to like them more and more as they get to know them and they start to see good traits. You may not always have, the most social grace compared to some guy that has every girlfriend he wants, but you oftentimes end up with the better quality relationships. It's just maybe a few months or a year. All of a sudden, if you approach things the right way, you take classes that are going to represent you, where you're going to have people that see a good talent in you and a good side. Not where you're taking some rocket science class and then you scare a teacher talking about propellants where they think you're some Unabomber, or taking a forensics class where someone starts accusing you of anything because they don't know what to make of you talking about something. or taking a psychology class where somebody thinks that you're taking it for the wrong reasons, in a drug and behavior, or taking, some history class where you seem fascinated by war and you scare the class or whatever. I've done numerous forums. I've heard lots of these stories where somebody may have been in a situation that wasn't a good fit. They may have been in an environment, or they may have had a certain personality. And the personality's response to the environment. You have the synergy where nature versus nurture. And you go into a friendly environment, but you're approaching things well. You don't have to wait that long for relationships. Don't let the people tell you, oh, you got to find someone you're 50, you're funny looking around. Because that's bigotry and ignorance. And a lot of times somebody with autism may be made out to be retarded or stupid or funny looking or whatever. They can just label them into the ground. And they're ignorant, and unless somebody gives you clear points like, you were a little awkward in that situation. You were bothering this person. Unless they're keeping it real with you telling stuff. They tend to be ignorant. And so you just got to find what works for you, and you'll do better with relationships. And, so this is part of my movie on dating with autism. We'll get into more detail later on. But, the creativity and intelligence are two things with autism that can really blow some away and can make people come to you rather than you having to worry about coming to people and having an approach. So this is my video, and thanks for watching.